Hello everyone, it's Sue here. I hope everyone's okay and you're all looking forward to a nice weekend. It's Saturday here today. I'm not sure when you'll see this video. It might be later today. I might put it up. It just depends because it can take 1 or 2 hours sometimes. Depends on the length of it, I think. I'm still kind of getting to grips with it all. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here today. Absolutely lovely. I took Paddy dog out this morning and all the trees are in bud and shoots are coming up everywhere and the birds are singing, you know. It just is so uplifting when you can get out in the nice weather, isn't it? So anyway, that's enough of that waffling on. Because you know I can waffle for England. Today I'm going to do episode 18 and possibly episode 19 as well, following on of Dee Dee Farago's YouTube challenge, hashtag 2021 TCTC. So today I'm going to probably be doing episode 18, which I'm doing now, and then hopefully episode 19 straight after, because they're both very simple, straightforward pieces, but both very effective, I think. So the piece that we're going to do for episode 18 is this one, and this one Dee Dee said was inspired by somebody called Amy. I think it's Amy at Crafty Cats. I think she'd sent Dee Dee some happy mail, and this was in it and all decorated up, and it looked really lovely. And Dee Dee said, you know, it was so unusual, she wanted to make one to put in her colossal tome, which is what this challenge is all about, building that library of all these different pockets and tucks and things, so that we don't forget how to make them. So what you need for this is I've done a demonstration piece in book paper. So the size of the two pieces that you're going to need is 4 inches by 4 inches. Now I should imagine that you could make these bigger or even smaller. It depends on what you're doing with them. It's entirely up to you. Excuse me. Just have a drink of water. Sorry. Oh, that wasn't a very good start, was it? Anyway, it's 4 by 4 piece of paper. Now I doubled up this book page at the back to make it a bit thicker because it is quite flimsy. Even though this is actually a modern novel, it's actually one of the Game of Thrones chapters in the series, hence the name Upside Down of Caitlin, who's a character in the Game of Thrones. But I do think that the books now that we buy, the paperbacks, tend to be on recycled paper, which is quite nice because the colour goes off very quickly. Anyway, it's a 4 by 4 piece of paper. You need 2 pieces, and it makes this lovely pocket with a tuck in here. So let me just get a, I don't know, piece of card. So you've got a nice tuck in here, and then if you put it on your journal page and glue it down 2 sides and along the bottom, you've got your pocket at the back. And I've put a thumb hole in so that you can see that that's a pocket there. And then you've got a nice little surprise underneath because you've got a nice journaling spot. So when you decorate this up, you can put some plain paper in there. So there we have it. This could also be a floating piece. You could paper clip it to the top of a page, put it into another pocket or a belly band. It's quite versatile and it's very easy to make. So let's get started. To save some time, I'm going to do 2 today, and I've cut the pieces out already. So these are the 2 pieces I'm going to use. So I've got the back piece here, and then this is going to be my tucks, my journaling spot here. And then I've already cut out pieces that I'm going to decorate them with. So I'm first of all going to ink around the edges of this. and I'm using tea dye today. So just give that a quick ink round, because once you've glued your front piece on, it's not so easy to, you know, distress the edges. So it's easy to do it now. So I'm going to distress this piece of shop bought parchment paper. I think I bought these on Amazon. There's a pack. Yeah, it's lovely paper actually, and very, very versatile. It's a gorgeous colour. And I'll just ink round the pieces that I am going to use to decorate it with. It only needs a light ink round. I've cut these with my paper trimmer. I haven't used my tear ruler, but you can use your tear ruler and get that nice ragged edge, which I think always looks nice. It adds that vintage feel. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to decorate mine. So I'm going to glue this piece down first, because again, it's easier to do it now than to try and fit it behind this piece once you've put it on. So I just get my piece of paper out that I'm going to use to glue on. Gosh, I seem to be in a bit of a pickle again today. I don't know how I manage it. I seem to have a lot of bits and bobs out on this desk. It's not a massive desk space that I have, but it's ample really for working from home and for crafting. And then my husband uses the desk for his radio show. So he does a radio show from 4 to 6 for Red Kite Radio every Sunday afternoon. So that's not quite gone up to the top now. Obviously this is not quite cut it completely right, but that's okay, because I could actually trim that off if I want to afterwards. Just going to turn that out. Okay, so I then take this 4x4 piece and you just literally fold it edge to edge in a triangle shape, like so. Take your bone folder and give that a good press down, like so. And then this is going, now you can either glue this so that you have your flap opening in this direction, or you can glue it so that you have it opening in that direction. It all depends on what side of your journal page you're going to have it on. So I think we'll put this one on this side, like so. So actually I'm just going to use the one that I've already inked up. Did I ink that side of it? You need to ink both sides, because obviously it's going to flap up. When I say you need to, you don't need to do anything you don't want to do. If you don't want to ink, you don't have to ink. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't always. Now, this again is not the right size, is it? Something went wrong with my measuring, as usual. I'm just going to get my trimmer out. I'm just going to trim off that piece, like so. That an ink round. I'm just going to ink round that crease there, and I'm going to fold that back, and I'm also going to ink that crease there, because I like that effect that it has when you open it up and you see that nice crease. Okay, now do we want to, well, we've got the trimmer out, do we want to just trim down this top piece? It's all completely edge to edge here. It's just that top. Now maybe that top is not perfectly straight. So the only problem with this, cutting it, and I'm still not completely happy with that, is, and I hope I haven't got my head in the camera, that's the last thing you need to see. Oh, that was in the way then. Is whether this corner piece is going to fit now. Oh dear. Cut pieces off, either with the scissors or with the cutter, and end up with nothing. Now we're going to put this here. No, I'm going to have it this way round, like so. That's it. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Now, if you do have any bits sticking over the top, you can just give them a little snip with the scissors. Right, so that's going to go down on there. But before I put it down, I want to decorate that. Now, I had a piece here, and that piece may now be a little bit too big. No, I think that's okay. Right, okay, so I'm just going to glue that down with the glue stick. Where did I leave that? Yeah, so I hope you're all doing okay, and I hope you had a good week. It's been a very long week, really. Oh gosh, I'm clumsy, aren't I? So clumsy. Now I'm just going to open that out so I can stick this on. Oh, and this glue stick is a Scotch glue stick, and it is extremely sticky. So before you know it, it has actually glued itself down. Right, give that a press down. And I have got a bit over the edge there, like I said. So I'm just going to snip that off. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now yeah, so that's coming up a bit. Okay, right, now let's check this isn't, that's the way up I want that. And gosh, I'm getting into a pickle now, aren't I? So it's got to go that way. Right, so all you're going to do is you're going to glue it down that edge and that edge. Okay, before we do that, if you don't have to do this, but it's quite nice to have a thumb hole at the top. I'm just going to eyeball that. And give that a quick ink round, like so. We don't want the glue stick for a moment, so I'm just going to cap that, and I'm going to take this Cosmic Shimmer, which I think is definitely on its last legs, because it's now taken ages to actually come out and do what it's supposed to be doing. I've had to put it in the my pencil pot upside down. I just think the consistency of it over time changes, and so that corner to corner, edge to edge, like so. We've got another little piece hanging over there, just snip that off and get rid of that gluey paper. And where's our little piece that we're using as a tag? So there we have it. That's all we needed to do. So we've got our little flip out, which is our journal page, Now I can see there's a bit of overhang, so nothing is ever too horrendous that you can't fix it by simply giving it a trim down like so. See what that looks like. That looks fine from the back now. Yeah, that's okay. So you have your little flip out here for journaling, and you have your side tuck pocket here, and then if you glue it down here along the bottom and up the side, you have that pocket at the back. And there we have it, done. That's done and ready to use. And then you can then embellish this further. It just depends really on what you're going to use it for, where you're going to put it, and you know, sometimes it's nice to actually wait until you've decided before you decorate them up. So if you know you've got a journal on the go that you're making ephemera for, like this, then obviously you can decorate it up accordingly. So so you can do that at the time, but I'm going to leave mine today because I don't know what I will use this in. I don't think I'm going to use it in my peacock journal. So I'm just going to pop a little ticket, pop a couple of tickets in here and a cigarette card, just so that we can see how it's used. And I don't know if I have a journal tag made that I can actually use to put in the back. I have this one here. That'd be quite nice. So that's what it will look like on your page. That's not really appropriate. It needs a bigger journal card or tag, really. Well, I don't really have any made at the moment that I could use. I could just put one of these plain brown ones in the back. So there you are. That's what it would be like with some ephemera in it. Okay, so we put that one over there, and then we've got one more here to do. Goodness me, I keep knocking things over today. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm hoping this is going to be square. You know, I took ages measuring it, and still doesn't make a difference when it comes to actually sticking something down, does it? And folding it, then you realise that you actually haven't cut it as straight as you thought, or as perfectly square as you thought. Right, so I think that piece, and that's going on there like so. Well, that looks like that fits a lot better than the last piece. I don't mind having a little bit of the background edging in view. I think it adds to it. Okay, so that's that piece, and then we've got another piece of parchment, and these pieces, the pattern pieces of like digital kit I'm using, I don't know, to be honest, where they've come from. I'm just using up my scraps. Now if you can hear wailing, that is a local cat, black and white cat, that keeps coming round down our road wailing like that, and he lives just up the road from us. Initially when he started doing it, people thought he was a stray, but he is well fed. He looks very well looked after, you know, and he actually ended up being the topic of conversation on our local village Facebook page. People were trying to catch him to see if he was chipped, my neighbour said to me, his girlfriend said to me, "Oh, that cat," she said, I'm going to go and buy a cat basket and try and catch him and take him to the vet. I feel awful, you know, that he keeps wailing." And I said, "Oh no," I said, "I think he's definitely got a home, because it's the neighbour of the place where he lives put it up on Facebook that he has got a home, and he belongs there. But the one thing we don't know is whether he's actually been neutered or not, because if he hasn't, and I know it's probably a male, he will go around wailing like that, because he'll be looking for a female. We have a female cat, Pebbles, but she's 15 years old now, so I don't actually think that she's going to be of any help to him. And I think I'm going to do this one on this side as well, because my paper is up the right way, and I like this because I may put this in my peacock journal. It has got that peacock feather on it. But yes, as I was saying, I am using up scraps at the moment. So I've got all sorts of odds and ends, and I'm trying to use them up. Which is, if these are good for using up your scraps, really. So first of all, we're going to stick this back piece on, the mat for it. I always find that strange expression, I'm going to mat it. Some of the crafting terms I still have to get to grips with. So just leave a tiny edge like so, and give that a good rub over like so. Now while we're at it, I think we'll put the thumb hole in straight away. So again, I'm just eyeballing it really. Let's see, let's do it there. Hold the back, because I took the back off so that I could actually see where I'm cutting. And now whenever it cuts, it just spits it out at me. Sometimes it hits you in the face. Right, so the next piece we're decorating up, just basic decorating today. That's all we're doing. As I say, you know, you can go away and embellish these however you want. And sometimes you don't always know what you want to do with them, really, until you've actually used them. I had it like that. See, that is going to be up the wrong way for me, although no, I'm going to stick to this side. I'm going to stick to this side here, and I'm going to put it on there like that. So again, actually opening it out is possibly a bit easier. I found it a bit easier anyway. I just need to make sure that's straight. Well, that went down fairly easy for a change. And there we have it. So all we need to do now is get the cosmic shimmer out again and hold the piece that you're not gluing, and just a thin bead of glue. And I can't really do that very easily now with this glue, and my throat's going to want to cough again now. I think I've got a bit of hay fever. I feel a bit nasally today, so I do apologise if I sound a bit stranger than normal. And yeah, I took a hay fever tablet this morning, but I don't know, sometimes they don't really cover everything, do they? Just an over-the-counter one, really. And there we have it. So again, let's use our tag. It's much nicer. So we've got side pocket and the back pocket there, and our lovely little flip out for journaling. And there we have it. And that is episode 18 of Dee Dee Farago's challenge, hashtag 2021 TCTC. So there's the one I made earlier as an example, which I can decorate up, and I probably will use that. I haven't got a big folder sorted out yet to make a colossal tome like Dee Dee has, but I will look one out. So it's on my list of to-dos. So there we have it. So those are, I think, very, very pretty. Right, okay, we'll go over straight away and we will do episode 19. Okay, put those over there. Put that back. And I have a couple of notes, but I only do them just in case I need to refer to them. When you're a secretary, you're used to making notes for everything. So for this piece, this is episode 19. It's not actually a pocket, you'll be pleased to know. And it's episode 19 of Dee Dee Farago's challenge, hashtag 2021 TCTC. And it's more like a little triple, I don't know, somebody referred to it as a folio with pockets. I don't know. It has got pockets in it, but it's not, the actual piece is not a pocket. So, and this was inspired, Dee Dee said she was inspired by Laurie G for this. So what you need is, you need a piece of paper, which is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. So I've taken some of this, this is a piece of, this is a piece of, a random piece of paper, and it's by, and I've left a strip here so I've got it here, and it's by 7 Gypsies, and it's called Primrose Camden paper. On the back it's navy with some rusty edges, and on the front it's all ephemera collaged, which is lovely. And I bought this from the Fruit Pixie. Now you can go on to the Fruit Pixie's website, which is www.fruitpixie.co.uk. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but I can put the link below. And they have lots of odd pieces of pad paper, scrapbooking pad paper from all different makers like Bo Bunny, 7 Gypsies, to name but a few. And you can buy them, so this was like 35p. And sometimes you don't always want to buy the whole pad, you know, you just want the odd one or two that might fit into a current project that you're doing. If you haven't got a huge amount of storage like me, buying a few odd sheets is really the way to go. So that's where that came from. And this one came out of my book, a pad of 180 sheets that I showed you in a previous video. And I've already forgotten what that's called. Isn't that awful? I told you I have it. I'll just go and check. It's only over here behind me. I have a memory like a goldfish. It's called the Heirloom Stack. And I did link it in the last video description. So it's just a piece out of there, because, you know, my 12 by 12s are generally a very thick 200 GSM cardstock, really, and they're not okay suitable for this type of thing. So right, we will get on. So I've already cut mine ready. So the first thing you need to do is now get your scoreboard out, and we'll take one piece at a time. You only need one piece for this. I've cut 2 so that we can do 2. So you're going to lay it lengthways, so horizontally onto your scoreboard. Now, you know, I've only got this tiny mini scoreboard. I am going to invest in a big scoreboard. I just haven't got round to sourcing one and seeing which is the best. So if anyone's got any suggestions, then all suggestions gratefully received. So you need to, and I'm just referring to my notes, so we need to score it at 3 7/8. So 3, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to do it just there on mine, just over the 1/2 inch. Now my scoreboard is not going to go down 11 inches, so I am going to carefully move it up so that I can still score continuously like so. That's the first one. And the second one is counting from the outer edge. You want to score it at 7 3/4. So mine only goes up to 5 1/2. So that's 5 1/2 from 7 3/4 is 2 1/4. I make that. So I need to score from the edge there another 2 1/4 inches. Oh gosh, that's my first one. So take that to the edge, and I'm doing now adding on to that 3 7 3/4. So I need 2 3/4. The first one. No, that doesn't look right. Oh, I'm going to measure it with my ruler. You see, this is the difficulty of having a scoreboard that doesn't go up to anything over 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to do it manually with my 7 3/4, which is there. That's my first score line. That's my second. So I guess in theory these two side pieces need to be about the same. So that's 3 6/8. I'm just checking, and that would be less. Now I might want mine. I might score mine a bit less so that I've got equal this side. So I am going to say that's 7 7/8. And if I do 7 what am I talking about? So that's 3 7/8. Goodness me, I can't even. Oh, so I'm going to put my mark there, and I'm scoring it there. So you obviously can score where you want. I think I want my out. You'll see what I mean in a minute, because it's like a trifold. So when you have a trifold, I don't know, I want mine to look the same either side. Might not work out in a minute, might have to change your mind. Now you turn it vertically, and you're going to, from the bottom up, you're going to score at 6 inches. So from the top down, rather, 6 inches. So that's 5 1/2. So I want another 1/2 inch onto that. A good old ruler. So that would be there. So I'm scoring that 6 inches. Now take the notice of where my piece of paper is on the scoreboard now, because obviously I'm having to manipulate mine so that I can score completely down like so. Right, goodness me, yes, these are dinky and they're very good for little things. I do need to start thinking about getting a bigger one. So I think I'll have that highly patterned piece on the outside. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go to the first score line, and you're folding it over like so. Take your bone folder, give it a press down, turn it round, go to the next score line and fold that over like that. So you can see what I mean when I said I wanted my outer flaps to be a similar size. Otherwise I would have had one much smaller, shorter here. which you can have. It's just personal choice. Then you open it back out, and where you scored along here, you're going to fold that up like that. Give that a good burnish, like so. Okay, and there is your, those are your pockets. Okay, now Dee Dee just glued hers down edge and edge. She did one like that and one where she glued all the lines. If you do it edged, just the two edges, outer edges, you've got a big pocket here. It does still work because obviously you're folding that back over and burnishing that edge, and you're doing the same here. So that pocket edge inside is now burnished, just to keep it flat. So you can see that now you've burnished it, your pockets, when it's just glued there on the end and there, your pockets will still be pockets, but they'll be a bit more flexible than if you glued there and there. So for this one, I think because it's slightly thicker, I will just glue the two outer edges. I mean, if you're not happy with it, once you've done it and you start using it, you could always, you know, just glue down those inner bits somehow. I'm sure there's a way of doing it. So you've glued the two sides. We're pressing those down like so. Now where's my dry wipe? Dry wipes are very good. So when you're using a baby wipe, unless you've got it and it's really manky, you want to throw it away. If it's not and it dries out, use it as a dry wipe. It's excellent for this. And I saw Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah doing this, and that's where I've picked it up from, and I think it's great. So I have 3 pockets here. It's going to have to get back. 3 pockets here, here and here, but they're not glued down here, here and here because they're flexible. Okay, and that is it. That is all you do. And when you put it on your page, you can have it wherever you want. You're going to fold it whichever way you want. So you're going to have it folded that way or that way. And now, one of the good things about it is, Dee Dee said, you can actually sew it into a signature. So you could sew it into, now let me see if I've got something I can use as signature, like a page in a journal. So say we use this glue page. This was my signature. I could sew it into my signature like that down there. Okay, so then you have it, you can open it that side like that, and then you turn your page and you've got it here with your pocket. Or you could sew it in this way and have it open like that, and then behind you've got your little flap there. Now I think if I did that, I would probably make that edge slightly narrower, and maybe that's what it was designed for, and that's why those measurements are what they are. But mine does not reach that fold line at all, so we just ink around the edges of this. This is very busy paper on the outside. Yeah, so it probably wouldn't do too much to it. But, you know, I don't know what I would use this one in, actually, at the moment. I am making a custom journal for a lady who bought my spring journal, but I don't know if this will be suitable, really, for it. I'll have to have a look at it when I put my custom journal together, because she wants a plain one. She collects ephemera of a type, a certain type, and she wants a plain journal to put that in so that she can you know, bling it up herself really with her own collectible ephemera for a certain subject. So now if you wanted to, before you glued those sides down, and this wasn't done on the video that I watched, you could put little thumb holes in here. And we could still do that because it's flexible. I do like the thought of little thumb holes personally. So I might go ahead and do that. I'm just going to pin this glue and turn it upside down. Like so. And I'm going to just measure halfway between each of these, just so that I can put my thumb holes in the center really. So just be very careful. It's not easy to do once you've glued it down, and it's not mandatory. I didn't see it on there. I'm only doing a very short one, like so, like that. We do the same here. Go from school line to school line. So that's just under 2. Oh, somebody's playing a recorder or something outside. Goodness me. So if I do 1.5 and 1.5, that means I am left with these. So that's 6/8. So that's 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. 6/8 is about there. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. You can tell I'm not a mathematician, can't you? I'm sure you've noticed that. Maths was my most hated subject at school. But if my girls are watching this, they'll know that I try very hard not to instill that into them. 1.5, 1.5, so that's 3 and 9, so that's 1.5, and so it's about there. Okay, yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Some of it I did, you know, and I got my exam. I did all right in my exam for it, so it wasn't too bad. I just didn't like it, and I didn't like the teacher either. I think that makes a huge difference, you know, to any subject that you were taught at school. When you're in like secondary school and you've got the same teacher for that particular subject, I just think that makes a huge difference. And he was quite aggressive. He was also a PE teacher, and he favoured the boys over the girls, and so we're talking about, I don't know, 70s. And he used to, if one of the boys was talking at the back of the room, he used to actually get the blackboard rubber, which was wooden. It looked like a scrubbing brush, but it was obviously had the soft pad on it to wipe the blackboard with. And he would launch it across the room, and he didn't care who he hit. And sometimes, if he didn't have that to hand, he would actually grab somebody's possession. So it would be like, it might be their gym shoe or their football boot or something, if he happened to see their bag and see it, and he would launch that across the room too. And I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't like that. I never came from a home where there was a lot of aggression, and I didn't like seeing that in the classroom. However, that was nothing compared to what my husband had to put up with in one of the Irish schools. When he was growing up, because he's from Dublin, he was born in Dublin on the south side, and he grew up and he went to one of the Christian Brothers schools. Christian Brothers being the religion, because they were Catholic, they would have physically beat up the children, and nobody would say a word, and they would do it in front of the others, and they would think nothing of punching a child in the face. He had many a punch from them, and it just seemed to be the done thing. And the nuns who taught in the girls' schools were no better either. It's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. So our children really are very lucky these days. I don't think they realise what life was like. Anyway, it's enough of that. So that's that done. Look at it. Isn't that a lovely piece? So you've got 3 pockets. You could put 3 nice tags in, or lovely journal cards. So that's that one. And we'll do the next one, which is going to be plain on the inside. So what I thought I'd like to do for this one is very quickly, because it's so white, and that's the only downfall with that heirloom paper pad, I will do some stenciling. So I just get my stencil out, and let's have a look. I've got a box with all the rubbery stencils in. Now, do I want a flowery pattern? Do I want script? I don't know. This plainish. That's already got a. Let's use script, I think. So I have got one I bought from eBay. It's not a brand anyone would recognise, I don't think, and it's Latin script, so I really like that. So I've got some sepia. Goodness me, I've got so much stuff out. So I've got this VersaFine vintage sepia, which is really lovely. So that's the make of it. It's really nice. I've got one of these brushes. These are actually makeup brushes, but they now have cottoned on to the fact that crafters use them, and they sell them in sets of 5 or 6. They sell them in sets of all different sizes. I haven't got the different sizes. I had a set of, I think, 6 that were all this size, but at the moment that's fine. So just give that a rub over there. Now I don't know why I'm using this brush, because I don't need it, do I? I only need it if I'm using an actual stencil. Oh my goodness, what a noodle head I am. So we put that back. We don't need it. All we need to do is, what we'll do is we'll turn that upside down, and I'm not putting this on a block. I've left it on its plastic backing. I'm just going to rub that over it like so, and I'm going to do some random script here just to give it some interest, like that. A few bits of darker bits around, be nice. And there we have it. That's, I think, covered up that quite well, like so. Right, I never know when to stop. That's my problem. Right, there, I'm going to stop now. I couldn't tell you what make this is, but if you go on to eBay or even Amazon and put in script stamps, a lot of them will come up. So I'm just going to get a wipe. I've made such a mess. I'm messy and I'm clumsy and I'm forgetful. And I'm putting it all down to age. So just give that a wipe, and let's give this a quick wipe over. So this wipe will probably dry, obviously, eventually, and by tomorrow. And if it's not too manky, I will use it as a dry wipe. Very handy indeed, and a good way of getting more than one use out of something, which I'm a big fan of. recycling and reusing. So I just hang it over the edge of my shelf that I have here. Right, I'll get rid of this, I'll turn it over. Now, I'm going to have that on the outside. Or am I going to have it on the outside? Am I going to have it this on the outside? Because that would be easier to actually decorate later on, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's go mad and have that on the outside. Now I need to just ink around the edges of this because I can see that, where have I put it? Here it is. You can see that where I've cut it on the trimmer, it's got a white edge. So don't forget, this is episode 19, hashtag 2021PC. Actually, rather than put that away, I'll just distress this edge. So I think that will help the starkness of this paper. You can always go over this with a different stamp on top of what you've done and layer it up, and I might actually do that. Let's think about what we could layer it up with, what colour, before you fold it up. That might be nice. I mean, I think it's dry. Yeah, it dries very quickly. There's no real direction to this paper either. So I'm just wondering, I've got the I've got this pine needles. That might be quite nice too. Let me see, I'll just get one more stencil. This is ad hoc, all of this. Let's have a look in here and see what we've got. Oh, I know what we've got. We have some music. And again, I'm leaving it on the plastic. And I'm going to see what this looks like. Now, this could be a massive disaster. Actually, won't leave it on there. Could be. Or it could work out very well. Who knows? So, oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. I like that. I don't want too many. I should have put this on a block. It would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? I don't know why I make life much difficult for myself. Just, I think it's laziness. Goodness me, someone's having a right go with, I don't know if it's a recorder or what it is. I know there's somebody around here that plays a trombone, or they're learning to play the trombone. And that's quite interesting to listen to as well. Okay, that's lovely. I'm very happy with that. Where's that wet wipe? So I might not recycle this one if it's going to have all sorts on it. We will see. What you don't want is to have it wet with glue when you're using it as a dry wipe, and then for the dregs of the ink that you use to come off onto your piece. So that's that. Right, so that's going to be outside. So we're going to score it now. Okay, so we're scoring it at 3 7/8. So we're laying it horizontally, and we are doing 3 7/8. So we're going to go down here. Oh, mustn't press too hard. This is quite thin, this paper. Right, and then taking the measurement from this outer edge, we're doing 7 3/4. So 7 3/4. Now we're going to use the ruler because it's a lot quicker. And stop faffing about. 7 3/4. So I'm going to just do mine at 7 1/2, I think. Yeah. So if I do 3 7/8, 3, 1 2 3. So if I do it there, that will be roughly the same again. So find a channel, score down there, and this is going to be tricky, trying to find that score line again to join up the bottom. Oh, that's okay, that's fine. Then we're turning it round and we're scoring it at now there is a direction on this side, so I'm turning it round and I'm scoring it. So I want my pockets this way up, so I'm scoring this down here from this edge, scoring it 6 inches, so 5, 6 inches, yeah, 6 inches. I'm going to measure again from the edge there. Okay, no, I do need a bigger scoreboard now, I've decided. I mean, I'm very loath to buy big pieces of equipment because of storage, basically. That's what puts me off. And so there are 2 big things that I would like a big cutter, and I would like a big scoreboard. So I shall have to wait, put them on my Amazon wish list, and see if anyone is kind enough to buy them for me for Christmas or birthday. Birthday first in November. So again, we're folding the outer edge in along that score line, and we're going to burnish that down. Now I can see this paper has cracked slightly just there, and then we're turning it round and we're going to fold that flap over, and we're going to burnish that down like that. That does not seem as if it's straight. I sometimes wonder if this paper pad paper is exactly straight. It's probably me. I blame everything but myself. Of course I wouldn't, you know, score it crooked. What do you mean? Of course I wouldn't. Right, now I'm going to take the bottom and we're going to fold it up. And before we stick it down this time, I want thumb holes in mine. So before we stick it down, I'm just going to quickly measure the centre of each pocket, and I'm going to put a thumb hole in. So so 1 and 4, so it's about there. And this one is just under 4, so again we're left with, so 1 1/2, and so it's going to be about there. And then this one is up there. Okay, so sorry about that, concentrating on what I was doing. I just don't want to make them look awfully off center, and that can happen if you're eyeballing. Okay, right, so we're just going to ink those edges. Like that, and we're going to glue them down, and this time just make sure this is completely folded straight. I'm wondering if I've cut this crooked, you know. There's the bone folder. Best not to let me loose with things, isn't it? Right, I'm going to glue this down each edge. So there's 2 outer edges and that edge where the paper was folded. Okay, so I'm just going to attempt to do a thin bead of glue there and down there like so. Not extremely thin. This glue, I might throw it away. I just hate waste. I think it's probably got about under a quarter left, but it's, I don't know, the consistency has really completely changed. So is that not quite, that's better, that's much better. Okay, yeah, it's not over that edge, but it's just a tiny shade that side. I may just get my trim up and trim that because I'm not happy with it. I think it just leaves a slither off that side like so. Much better, much better. Right, let's pin the glue. We can find a pin in this mess. Right, turn it upside down, move everything out, get rid of the rubbish. Okay, so there we have our second piece, and burnish that down. It's a shame that that cracked just there, but if I was to sew it into a signature, that's not going to show really. So I could do, but if I was going to sew it into a signature, I would probably do it there and have that like that. Okay, so there you have it. There are those 2 pieces from Dee Dee Farago's episode 19 of hashtag 2021 TCTC, and there we have it. And I'll put some tags in the pockets for the thumbnail. Okay, and that's it from me at the moment. Take care everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.